Yo, what's going on guys? So in today's video I'm going to be showing you the top 10 Season 7 drop spots for Cash Cups and Competitive. I'm slightly annoyed right now because I did film this video already, but my voice wasn't actually recording, so that's a bit annoying. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy, let's get right into it. So for our first drop, we've got a split where you can go in duos or solos between the Alien Mothership POI, which has a weapon-o-matic and 5 chest spawns. One of them is a henchman chest, but they can drop 2 at some points. Then you've got the Gnome Castle, which has 1 weapon-o-matic and 7 chest spawns. This is a very good split drop and I highly recommend it. Now as you can see here, there's a few rotations going out south and you can head towards this pond here. There's like around 10 chests this way. You can also head to your east and there's 6 chests there, which is very good, and you can also buy a rift to go there from one of the NPCs. So a thing to note is that this won't be a hot drop at all, unless the bus is dropping over Believer. Then maybe you have another person contesting you or another team, depends what game mode you're playing. Then they'll usually go Believer, but they could land here if they watch this video or a video like this that shows the same drop spot. Anyway, this is very calm POI and drop spot, so I really recommend going here if you're landing for placement or just want to get good loot for endgame and then frag out then, because you can actually head down south. There's the John Wick house, which has a Ferrari and that replaced the Lambo that used to be there. Then you've got all these houses down the south which have 3 chest spawns in most of these houses, so it's really good if you just want to do that. And then yeah, as I said, there'll be 1 to 2 teams landing here. It's not very contested. The only teams that are really pushing to you maybe are Coral if the zone does pull down towards Holly or Weeping, but they'll usually push into Believer unless they're real shambles, then you can take them on. But you can buy a rift to go from over the east. In this blue area over here, there's an NPC that sells it. They did last season as well, and it's really good, and I think it costs 500 gold, so you might not be able to get it in arena, but if you guys are looking at this for solos, duos, squads, trios, whatever, you can buy this with only 500 gold. And look, as I can show you, there's a lot of loot routes out of here that contain many chests along the way. If you want to pause the video and check all the chest spawns of these locations, you're more than welcome to, but there's a lot going east and south, and even some going north into Coral and Shark. So in the end, I rate this drop spot 9 out of 10 and 10 out of 10 for calm and tranquility. It's very good because no one really lands here. So with that being said guys, let's get into the next drop spot. So our next drop is one of those forgotten drops. It's got Shark and Lighthouse. Now believe me when I say this is very good for trios. I've landed here I think last season I landed here a bit for trios. It's really good, and you can have 1 teammate on the nose of the Shark, 1 person landing Lighthouse with there being 7 chest spawns at Lighthouse, and 1 person landing Prison, getting something from the weapon-o-matic or the vending machine, and then just pushing Coral, because this is a very good strat. I wouldn't recommend pushing Stealthy, that'll be the next drop we talk about, but I really recommend pushing Coral because you can easily get height on them. With the big waterfalls around Coral, you're at a big disadvantage. That's why I never recommend landing there. This drop is also going to cover TK Island, which I can show you just in a second. It's this bit here in the light blue, and this is really good. Then you have some southeast rotations out here. Just here you can go east towards like Craggy and Flopper Island. You can also go south down here past Pleasant and like east towards that Flopper place. There's 4 chest spawns there and it's really good. Okay guys, so for this next spot we're going to be looking over at Stealthy Stronghold. Now this does have 36 chest spawns. It doesn't actually show it on the map here, but it also has 2 weapon-o-matics, as well as this is one of the most stacked POIs on the map, by the way guys, if you didn't know. It's so good, but it will be a huge hot drop, just to warn you. But there's a lot of rotations out of it and no one really pushes this. You'd think they push it, no one pushes this. Because of the big walls, the only places that are really going to push you is Lighthouse, and they won't really be a threat to you because you're going to have great loot. You're going to have the best loot, you're going to have much better than them. And there's lots of rotations going south out of here, going east. There's not as many going west because, I mean, you could go Coral, but that's about it. And this is a really good drop. Okay, so for this next one, we're looking at a 3-way tie between Zate Hill, Greenbridge, and this place east of Pleasant Park. This is very good because the bridge has 19 chest spawns, the hill has 3, and the next zone has like 4. You can also head up to the alien base if you want to. This is very good because it also has a weapon-o-matic, which are very overpowered this season. Now, unlike some of the other spots, this is one of the best ones for solos, seeing as there's a lot of different chests and you'll be stacked whether in trios. You might have okay loot for the whole trio, but trust me, you'll be sorted, guys. So there's a lot of rotations as well. Just like every spot, you can head down the river. There's a boat just on the north of the purple zone, the bottom purple zone. It's really good because then you can rotate into Pleasant, you can rotate into Risky, you can rotate into Center, where the purple is. Now I have to say the only problem with this spot is that there isn't a lot of loot. You can come up here to this spire tower where you'll get much more loot. I say there's about 6 chest spawns plus a free rotation into Pleasant, but be warned, there will be people that have already landed there in the early game. So I'd recommend going Risky, maybe get a couple of tags, push, then you can come down to the middle zone after you've done that, or push into Corny. It's really up to you, depends how much you want to W key. And then you can come and you see all these chests here. Now let's move on to there. Okay guys, so there's about 18 chest spawns, including 4 of these bunker henchman chests and 4 launch pads. They were removed, but they're getting added back in the next update. That's something to note. You can also push slightly into Weeping, so that's the IO base, because this is covering both. It's pretty good down here, you can see. It has a very OP turret. I was watching comp earlier and they have a very OP turret. You can beam people out of the sky and it's really good for competitive. Anyway, I recommend landing right in the center, getting the 3 chests in the center of the map, and then heading out to get the bunker ghost chests, and then heading off of a launch pad into the purple zone. Now, I wouldn't recommend splitting up for this drop, as it's just too far away. People like to push into center zone because it's where most of the zones will pull. That's the good thing about this drop, you'll get a lot of zones, but a lot of people will rotate into you. And you can head down to Motel, the gas station, but I really recommend not just have one person land here, one person land here. You'll be shambles. But if you have great loot, I recommend pushing into the purple zone and then like taking dominance. Now, moving on, we're going over Flash Factory and Slurpy Swamp. I don't think there's ever been a landing video where no one has mentioned this drop. It's so good, and there's so many chests. As you can see, just down by the little towns, shanty towns, by Slurpy Swamp, there's so much loot there. It's really, really good for solos and for trios. Just landing Slurpy or landing anywhere in this bluey purple area is very good. So looking down at this Flush Factory island area, I recommend 2 people landing here because there is floor loot and there is a few chests, but one person can land over here. Just don't get too split, just one person quickly loot for 30 seconds Shanty Town, and maybe your trio can push up to Slurpy, or if you're playing solos, just loot out Shanty Town and then maybe rotate into Flush Factory if you need to. You can come into this mountain area, which is really OP, and as you can see, I'm just going to turn on the fishing spots. There's so many of them. Anyway, moving up to this kind of alien base, there is a lot of chest spawns here, but yeah, I recommend doing a split drop here. Rotate maybe up with a Ferrari up here, and then rotate center. There will be people landing Shanty Town and like Hydro Dam. That can be a great split drop. You can have one person land Hydro, one person land the tower, one person land down here, grab some loot at the gas station, and then move down here, all of you, to Flush Factory. That is a really good drop, but there isn't much chests like together unless you're landing in this turquoise zone, so I'd recommend landing not completely split. Then with this next area, we've got this mountainous area near Misty Meadows. There's also this alien base, which kind of was covered in the last drop, but that's really good for solos. You can have enough for duos, and once again it has a launch pad just like the other one I showed with the Gnome Hill and the other alien base, the first POI I showed. Now there is a weapon-o-matic and there's some loot paths here, but just maybe you need one person landing here, one person here, and then maybe one person can drop into Misty, but it will be very split, that drop, so you just need to be careful if there's people here. Now moving on to our next drop, we're moving over to this kind of retail, kind of like Spire Tower, Flopper Pond alien base split. It's probably one of the biggest splits, apart from the last one we just mentioned, including 12 chest spawns in one of them, which is pretty good. That's the alien base, and it has like 2 of the weapon alien henchman chests. Now, you don't have to play aggressive if you land here, but I do enjoy landing retail from time to time. It's a very simple layout, and it's a good hot drop because it's not too contested. Even if there's loads of people going there, you only really have one person per house. It's got like a shopping mall, it's got a few houses. It's nothing really that hard to understand. Now, you can rotate up to the Flopper Pond, which has, of course, a lot of fishing spots, and it also has a vending machine there. If you get lucky, you could get a pump out of that, and there's also a vending machine up at the alien base up here. Then you can rotate out here. There are some slurp barrels up by the bridge. There's 2 slurps, and then this bridge up here is pretty good. If you land, one person can land there, and then another person land at the purple base. Up here is pretty good. You can grab a Ferrari, rotate out towards Dirty, and then rotate into center. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it for this drop spot, and that's pretty much it for the end of this video. Hope you guys did enjoy, and if you did, make sure to drop a like and sub. It's all appreciated, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.